Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Rubbins Racing Next Gen Series, sponsored by Book, presented by Team Goose Squad at 1080p 60 frames a second. For round 2 of the championship here today at All Club Speedway. Just trying to get our overlays reloaded and get the race info up. So just stand by just stand by a second, folks. We're gonna get this sorted. Shouldn't take too long. Just struggling to get. The software up and running. Give it a quick restart, that should always work. Looks like we can't get that running just for a second here, but just for your quick race notes, there will be no fast repairs here tonight, just with the second series or the second season of the championship. In line with that, there will be no fast repairs. So last season we used to have one fast repair, which means his drivers had a get out of jail free card if they needed it. In case they got involved in a wreck early on, they could still carry on with the race. However, the league admins have decided to remove that now. They are no longer allowed in the series. Their drivers now just completing qualifying. We'll get our grid up in just a second here as qualifying gets finished. We're just watching Garrett Hall on his cool down lap in the number 13 Ford machine. As he makes his way down pit road now, he will be the final driver on track, I believe, left. Then corrected, Tyler Evans is still on the plan. He's currently sitting down in 18th place, the 41.9. I think that is, yes, that is the end of qualifying here tonight. So, get that grid open. Stand by here, folks. Just had some technical difficulties. Just a second up here in the booth.
Good luck, everyone.
I'm gonna try and get this sorted real quick. I'm just gonna run another ad break, and we'll be back straight after.
All right, everybody. So we got a bunch
too long, as I realised the. So, as I was saying before, we're just going to go through our grid order very, very quickly here tonight. So we can't get our overlay working, unfortunately. So Jared Reed is going to be on your pole position, followed by Greg Mitchell, Mathis Jr., followed by Nick Leo, Kevin Haas, Aaron Sire, Dominic DeLeo coming home in 7th, Bush Taylor in 8th, Garrett Hall, Michael Van Der Eed coming home in that 10th spot, followed by Stefan Gibson, Jake Vanoski, David Reed, followed by Tim Johnson, Mark Nelson, Tyler Evans, Mark Cassano, Carter Linz, Matt Clayman, James Silvers, and coming home in that 23rd spot, starting Charlie Gates Jr. running out your grid here tonight. Then we're watching our leader Jared Reed for that restart on that inside line, the number 5 Ford machine in the dark green. He'll be leading a restart here tonight. We're still trying to get our overlay sorted. Hopefully we can get it sorted before too much of the race has gone past. We apologise, folks, for you watching at home. That's a good fix on the trials, it seems. However, the race has begun. Jared Reed on that inside line getting a good enough start. However, Greg Mitchell on the outside, the number 2, is also up there. As it looks like Jared Reed choosing that inside line on the restart. Does have the shorter distance and it is quicker to begin with. However, though, during this race, the low groove wears your tyres out so much. These drivers won't go running it lap after lap as we go too wide by the back. That's Nick Leo and Bob Mathis Jr. Ross Jr. being the driver on the inside, Nick Leo on the outside, and the dual 69 Chevrolet in almost the Chevrolet Impala then. In the Chevrolet on the outside line. It looks like Nick Leo has been able to edge him on the outside, getting the run down the main straightaway. Coming on to lap 2 as he takes that 4th spot, or 3rd spot, excuse me, away from Mathis Jr. now. Front 3 remains the same. Jared Reed, Greg Mitchell, Nick Leo in 3rd place. Nick Leo, our current championship leader, sitting home in 3rd place. We usually see him up high in these places. You don't usually see him far down low. He's always up there or thereabouts. Not sure what's going on with our software, unfortunately. Won't be a problem I believe I can fix. Trying our best up here in the booth. Apologies once again for this. Not a whole lot I can do. Nick Leo, though, getting right onto the bumper of Greg Mitchell on the number 2 machine. Greg Mitchell being a newer face for the league. Definitely wants to impress the crowds and put in that good result. Nick Leo, though, down to the inside line now. Jared Reed moving off to that low line to cover him off to make sure he doesn't get that run. Nick Leo is still on the inside of Greg Mitchell as they go too wide down the front straightaway. Jared Reed switching between the lanes, giving the draft equally. Trying to make sure neither one of them gets a good enough run to overtake them. Jared Reed then moves to the outside to block Greg Mitchell. Once again, going back down low for the shorter distance through the corner. They're still too wide further back between Nick Leo and Greg Mitchell. Greg Mitchell, your man on the outside, Nick Leo and the dual Chevrolet machine on the inside. Too wide going down the front stretch. That is Dominic DeLeo trying to make a move now on the 22 machine. Pass forward Mathis Jr. Goes right down onto the apron there on the inside. Looks like he has the edge into the corner. Will he be able to hold it? Will Mathis Jr. have the run on the outside line to get him back on the corner exit? That is the question. DeLeo seems to have dropped back just a little bit as an elder threat for Dominic DeLeo in the 22 machine. Top 3, or top 5, excuse me, remains pretty close. That's Jared Reed's top spot, Greg Mitchell, Nick Leo in 3rd, Dominic DeLeo, then Mathis Jr., your top 5 in that front 5 pack. This seems to just broke away a little bit from the remainder of the field. So now falling back into single file lines. Trying to save those tyres, trying to save those fuel. Because you don't want to be running the whole low line, as I said before. That low line some of the drivers have been running earlier on in this race is going to rip their tyres apart. The absolute smithereens. Those tyres will not last as long as the drivers running in the 2nd, 3rd, maybe even the top groove on the track. Once again though, Water Club being such a wide track here, I've seen finishes go 5 or 6 wide. As I say that, That's Greg Mitchell on the inside of Nick Cleo now. Nick Cleo trying to make the move around the outside into turn 4. Nick Cleo will have the draft from Jared Reed, however he switches once again. Jared Reed now switches to the inside to help Greg Mitchell. Nick Cleo does have the edge though on the outside line just about as we head into 1. Nick Cleo choosing to use the very high line. Keeping in mind those tyres, it looks like he'll have the exit down the main straightaway. That's Nick Cleo and Jared Reed now going too wide for the lead. Nick Cleo on the outside once again. He may have the edge on Jared Reed coming into this. Jared Reed still choosing to use that inside groove, which may prove costly later on in this race. He starts to drop off the field with that tyre wear, and Nick Cleo is able to make the move stick and is up into that P1 position, up 3 spots from where he began, the number 69 machine. Ah, there we go. Race overlays are now fixed for you guys and gentlemen watching from home. We're now able to see the running drivers. Oh, no, it's decided to... Never mind. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the software here tonight, folks. However, you can see we're on lap 8 of 75 here. Battle for the top 5 still very close as Jared Reed now chooses to duck down low on the inside of Greg Mitchell. Jared Reed choosing that low line once again to try and get the edge in the mid corner. Maybe try and get ahead and cut in front on the corner exit. However, it doesn't quite work for him. Jared Reed still having to stick behind Nick Cleo in the machine. Nick Cleo is now in the position he wants to be. He's controlling the pace of the field. He has clean air in front of him, so the air work in front, maybe hampering his temperatures for his tyres. He can manage this race however he wants. As I say that though, Jared Reed has now got alongside him down the back straightaway. He'll be able to make a move into turn 1. Apologies, into turn 3. Takes the low line once again there. As you can see, he does manage to edge in front a little bit, but Nick Cleo is going to have the exit. As they do a little switcheroo there, Jared Reed coming up high, Nick Cleo switches down low. Nick Cleo, the exit, manages to get back alongside Jared Reed in the entry to turn 1. Like Jared Reed's choosing to choose the low line now, or the high line. Yeah, that's turn 2 now. As Jared Reed gets into the wall, that's going to really hurt his run now. Greg Mitchell and Dominic Toledo looking to suck up the opportunity as their bumper to tail down the inside of Jared Reed there. Jared Reed losing 2 positions off that mistake. So we're not proving the long game to maybe be a costly mistake as he hits the wall again. Jared Reed on the outside line not having a good day there. As you can see, there's a little bit of aero damage to that right front fender. That's definitely maybe going to prove some kind of aero drag that may slow him down in that straight line speed, which his drivers for obvious reasons wouldn't want. Still watching Greg Mitchell. He's been able to take the lead off Nick Cleo now. Apologies, we're trying to fix the software. It looks like I've missed a couple moves here. Greg Mitchell's now your race leader in the Monster Energy 2 machine. He's used to ride that second groove there. So he thinks about the tyres. He knows if he runs right down low, he'll start burning them up. So he's kind of using the best of both worlds. He still has that shorter distance, but he won't be burning up his tyres as much as he would be if he's running straight down low. Starting in the middle of the track, he likes to cut down and kind of use a parabolic kind of line here. As I said before though, Jared Reed, because he's been running the low line so much, as well as a little bit of aero damage he has to the right front, that's definitely made him a little bit slower here. And he's dropped off a little bit from our front pack. So, top four, Greg Mitchell, Nick Leo in second, Dominic Leo. Third, followed by Robert Mathis Jr. in the 29 machine. You're now the front pack here tonight. There's still further battles going on for the lead. Nick Leo choosing to go down the inside line now. Back and forth they are for the lead at the moment. No driver wants to give that advantage up. It looks like our drivers are slowing down. I believe the yellow flag has flown. Yes, the yellow flag has flown for the first caution of the night. I believe that was Nick Vasquez involved in that one. We're going to have to watch that replay in the number 23 machine, as it looks like we're going to have to go to the other angle. Or just get a little bit of a rewind action. A little bit. But from one angle, I think he may have come down a little bit on the yellow car on the inside. I'm not quite sure who that was. That just sent him careening into the wall. Bear in mind, these drivers do not have fast repairs here tonight, so unless he can get that damage fixed nice and quick, that will be him down to the virtual hauler. Now be his 9. He's missing a whole rear end there. That's definitely not good there for the 23 machine. Back to our leaders now. It looks like they're all choosing to go down pit road. Pretty much everybody is. I think it's just a case of follow the leader here tonight on lap 12 or 75. I don't think he made lap 12. They've been timing so. Please. I'm going to use this time to try and fix this. So, yeah, just stand by here, folks, whilst we have a little bit of an incident. Also trying to get these. Because, yeah, he doesn't love working. Aha! Mika, you may have a break. We have working overlays here tonight. So, very important with the strategy here. Matt Clayman has come out in front. I'm not sure if we can have a quick look back and see what his pit time was. I believe he may have taken less fuel or tyres, which meant that he's jumped up the field. Now up 19 spots from where he began. Matt Clayman, number 19, now. He may not have gone down pit road. I'm not seeing his name on the list. I think, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Clayman has chosen a out. Getting all those positions back. The number 19 car up 19 spots from where he began on lap 18 to 75. Just going to bring up our NASCAR timing tower here on the left hand side so you can see who your favourite drivers are. Let us know in the chat who you're cheering along for this race, who you're rooting for there at home. Now getting ready for our second or our first attempt at a restart here tonight on lap 18 of 75, going 90 on the green. This driver's now going back into two wide formation, coming down the back straightaway. Excited to see obviously our highest climber at the moment. Matt Clayman up 90. We began. However, though, Carter Lynn's another honourable mention of Oswald's. We began in number 4 McLaren machine. And that very nice pink shot there. However, a lot of drivers running higher. Tyler Evans as well, up 90, or correction, up 9 spots from where he began in the number 77 machine. His first race of the season. He's definitely putting in those results which he may want it. Pretty good job from him. However, we're going to switch back to our restart now. Matt Clayman on the inside line will be controlling it as we're getting ready to go green here at All the Club Speedway. As we do, Matt Clayman with a good start there on the inside line. Nick Leo kind of left it in the dust a little bit as Jake Vanovsky now on the inside line looks to take it. Look further back, that's Jake Vanovsky on the inside line, battling Nick Leo on the outside. Looks like Jake Vanovsky is able to concede the position to Nick Leo. Nick Leo gaining that position back. 2 spots from where he began, back into that P2 position after starting P4 on the grid today. As we look a little bit further back, that's Dominic DeLeo on the inside of Aaron Sayer. It looks like, though, he's left out to dust a little bit. It looks like Michael Vandermeer is working well with Aaron Sayer on the outside line to push their way over. Or push their way back forwards, kind of leaving Dominic DeLeo in the dust as it looks like the second caution has flown. James Silvers involved in that instant, I believe. We're going to go to the replay on that one in the number 17 Nike Pro machine. Got to see what's happening. Oh, so it looks like he just got loose out of turn 4, smacking straight into the side of the 07. Looks like no one else has collected, fortunately. However, that's a costly mistake for the 17. That's not what he wants, especially so early on in this race. Also being his first race for the league as well. That's definitely not the first impressions you really want to be making. Hopefully he can make it up with some better racing later on. However, that has brought out the second caution of the night, as I said before, on lap 21. 5 here tonight at All the Clubs Speedway. Once again, now that we've got our overlays working. Yeah. Our timing tower here once again. Let us know who you're rooting on at home. Let us know in the chat what drivers you're cheering on for. Clayman, your current leader in the 19 machine. Once again, I'll say it again, up 19 spots where he began because he chose not to pit last time by for that caution. Maybe he's thinking there's going to be a lot of cautions here tonight at Auto Club because of how wide the track is. Drivers are so inclined to go 2 wide, maybe 3 wide in some cases, that incidents are just bound to happen. So he's going for a little bit of a risky strategy here. He may choose to pit this time by, we all know. It looks like he's going down low. Onto the apron, it looks like yes, he'll be going down pit road here tonight, making his pit stop. Means Nick Beale will take over the lead in the number 69 machine. Back where he wants to be, just extending that championship lead. That stands though, Jared Reed was second place finisher last time out, which means he is currently second in the championship. However, with the incidents that have been happening, and especially with that damage that he had early on, that's put him right down the pack. He's now in P13. But not the end of the world. We'll try and get a camera on him in just a second. See if he's been able to fix any kind of damage he has to that car. It looks like under the first caution he did take slightly longer in that pit stall, trying to get as much as he can done without losing too many positions. It looks like he is fixed just a little bit. That will be less aero drag and less kind of metal sticking out if you suppose, slowing him down. is only going to help him in this race here. Now though, all the way back in P13, he's got to make his way all the way back up. But as it stands, we'll be stretching that championship lead by a sizable amount. Second portion of the night already on that 22.75 here tonight at all. So we can see what drives are done. So we can see pretty much all of those top 10 drivers are chosen to pit on lap 16. I believe the only driver actually to not pit the lap 16 caution was Damon, who's now only up 3 spots from where he began in the number 19 machine, as he chose to stay out. He led the race for a couple laps before the second caution flew. Over though, people to watch, Michael Vandermeed in the number 6 machine. First race for the league, and he's up 3 spots from where he began at the moment. However, looking pretty strong as it stands, putting his mark in the league, stamping. I wouldn't say dominance because he's not at the front of the pack. However, he's stamping that experience, that racing knowledge, that speed as getting in those results. However, though, at the moment, Matt Clayman, after falling back, Carter Lynn's your current highest climber in number 4 machine, up 12 spots from where he began. However, Jake Vanoski following very, very closely, up 10 spots. Tyler Everett's 77 machine. It's now rounding out into turn 4 now. Nicola will be trying that restart on the inside line. He'll be looking to get a good start on the inside line and cut in front of Jake Vanoski before turn 1. Will he be able to do it? As a pace car goes down into pit road for the third attempt at a restart. As the green flag flies here at Auto Club once again. Green flag racing, as it looks like Nicola was able to get that good start which she wanted. Greg Mitchell on the inside of Jake Vanoski. He will have the shorter run on the inside line. Will he be able to hold it, however? He's kind of on his own on the inside line. He's not going to have anyone helping behind him. Giving him a little bit of an aero push. Which may be the factor which plays. However, Greg Mitchell, yes. He's able to get that shorter run and he's able to cut in front of Jake Vanoski. Going to Leo, sticking his nose out the 22 machine down the inside of Jake Vanoski now. Jake Vanoski down 2 positions from where he began. 2 spots from that restart. All the way for seconds. It looks like that's Greg Mitchell there having a spin down onto the apron. He looks like he doesn't collect anyone, so that's good for everyone else. However, the green flag stays blown. It looks like the caution will not go. Means crucially, any damage he may have suffered from that incident will be in vain. He won't be able to fix it without going a lap down. Unfortunate for him. However, we're going to look further back. Tim Johnson, number 11 Toyota Camry machine, was down the inside with number 42 Aaron Sire. Now coming through turn 4. Tim Johnson will have that inside line. It will have the initial place. However, they bang doors. And it looks like Tim Johnson's also into the grass. Able to hold it together in the Crayola 11 machine. Will he be able to rejoin safely? That is the question. We look back to our leader though, Nick Cleo. The dominant leader, stretching a little bit of a gap ahead of Michael Vandermeed. However, he's gained so many positions on that restart. He's gained 4 or 5 positions now, up into P3 because of the stuff that's happened in front. He's taking opportunity, and the clouds are kind of parted for him here tonight at Auto Club. It looks like he's having the race of his dreams at the moment. He's ever so close to our leads at the moment. Anything could happen on lap 26.75. We're not even halfway through yet, or even a third. So anything could still happen. I say that we're just over a third of the way, being 25 laps. As we know, we're running on to lap 27. Looks like we're going majority 3 wide. Or correction, single foul 4 wide here, what are we talking about? It looks like Nick Vasquez though and Tim Johnston both down pit road for the damages they may have received. I believe that is the number 52 machine on the in. If I can get you one, that is. Unfortunately, I can't. However, Greg Mitchell, after that spin, it looks like he's able to go into the grass and keep it all in one piece. And now he's going to kick down this machine of James Silver's. Back up front, that's David Reed in a 52 machine. That was the man I was looking for. David Reed on that inside line, battling with James Silvers. James Silvers, you can see, has a little bit of damage to that front because of the incident he had earlier on. However, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much here tonight, at least so far. David Reed choosing to switch down now to the inside line. He's going to have the shorter run. He has the track position in front as he moves up the racetrack to block any run James has. The half defending though just allows him to go further to the outside. So now back 2 wide, maybe 3 wide for a second there. Greg Mitchell sticking his nose into the matter. David Reed having the slight edge on that inside line because of the aero damage James Silvers has. It looks like then it actually did affect him a little bit and made him drop back just a little bit. Now he's under threat from Greg Mitchell and I believe that is Matt Clayman, yes, and the 19 machine also behind. We're going to switch back for a battle for the lead. It looks like Nick Leo has lost it and Dominic DeLeo has been able to take the lead. Michael Van Der Reed, however, on the inside line, making up positions as well. He was looking to take that P2 spot for Nick Leo as he slices in front of him. Up into that second place spot. Will it hold though? Will he be able to hunt down Dominic DeLeo and get that provisional first position? It looks like our front four is once again formed a breakaway pack, about 2 seconds to Jake Vanoski behind from our leader. Let's look further back though. That's 2 wide. Garrett Hall, Jake Vanoski though also fronting the pack. Garrett Hall looking to take it to go 2 wide now. 3 back. 4 back. Now coming down the front straightaway, or the back straightaway, excuse me. Garrett Hall once again on that inside line. Would be inside, he's able to get that initial track position. He's just able to move back and block the run from Jake Vanoski, taking the number 5 spot, leading the second pack. As they're still squabbling behind, as Butch Taylor on the inside of Aaron Sire there we're watching. Butch Taylor in the Bass Pro Shots machine, diving down the inside. However, it looks like we missed a couple action, or a bit of the action up front. Michael Van Der Reed is able to get past Dominic DeLeo and make his way back up the field. Rob Mathis Jr. also making some moves. However, Nick Leo is looking back at him, straight onto the bumper, all over the back of it. He wants to move back, and Mathis Jr. says no, he doesn't want it. However, Michael Van Der Reed, his first ever race in the league, got 9 spots from where he began, currently leading today's race at Auto Club. He's in an absolutely brilliant position here to maybe pick up a good result if things stay the way they are at the moment. Like that's Robert Mathis Jr. now having a look down the inside, Dominic DeLeo. This track just provides so good racing as everyone's just going 2 wide every corner. Battling and battling. Surely that's got to burn up their tyres at some point. Surely they can't make it this entire way using that low line every time to get that initial track position. Surely at some point that's got to cause some kind of major tyre wear. As we say that though, Robert Mathis Jr. getting past DeLeo. Moving up into that 3rd spot, or moving into that 2nd spot, the number 29. Okay, a little bit further back though, Butch Taylor is all over the bumper of Garrett Hall. They're trying to push each other as hard as they can. Maybe have the remote chance of catching that lead pack once again. Because they know as soon as they're edging the front, they're just at risk from all the drivers behind. And if they can somehow close that gap to the drivers ahead, as Leo looks to be dropping back, they can use him as a bridge to get closer to those leaders. Vandermeed's dual leader, like 0.3 of a second to Mathis Jr., followed by DeLeo in that number 3 spot. Leo's trying to drop back in 4th place now. Bruno later, Garrett Hall and Butch Taylor are going to get that draft. That's going to suck them closer towards our leaders here tonight, as Butch Taylor is down the inside of Garrett Hall. They don't want to be working together. They want that track position here on lap 35. Battling hammer and tong, throwing the kitchen sink already at this race. Choosing to run that low line quite often here tonight. Maybe he thinks that second is on the tyres, or it's worth slightly extra tyre wear for the game pace that he has. As it looks like Mathis Jr. is down the inside of Vandermeed, taking that P1 spot away from him. Vandermeed on the outside though will have the run. Mathis Jr. looks to block. Vandermeed goes to the inside. Right onto the advertisement boards there, right onto the apron, comes back in front of Mathis Jr. Mathis Jr. looks once again to that inside line. Vandermeed says, yes, go on. I'll have you down the back straightaway once again. It's fine, no worries. They're now battling hammer and tong once again for that top 3. Mathis Jr. on the inside, Vandermeed on the outside of the stands in the 86 Pappy Bus machine. Just going to take a quick onboard in just a second here with our 3rd place driver Dominic DeLeo as we watch the battle unfold in front of him. They're battling harder than you would expect for lap 38, but I guess the track position must mean a lot here for these drivers. Maybe they're just trying to have fun, we don't know. Maybe they're playing a strategy game. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out later on. See those drivers taking big care to just stick onto those seams to not burn those tyres up too much. Dominic DeLeo choosing that opportunity with the battle in front of him. Just let off just a little bit more, making sure that right rear and that front rear, or that right rear, excuse me, and the right front tyre to survive the rest of this stint. So it looks like it's going to be a long one on that 39. I mind these drivers have been running on this same tank of gas since lap 16. I'm not quite sure exactly how long that's going to last him, but it's definitely going to be a push maybe to get to the end. Maybe have to rely on 1 or 2 more cautions just to guarantee it. However, Mathis Jr. is back too wide. Just for a little bit, coming into turn 4 there, but Vandermeed having the run on the outside though, putting Mathis Jr. back off. But these drivers are having a lot of fun here. It definitely looks like fun up here for the commentary booth. Moving back though, Nick Leo has fallen back to that second group now. It looks like Jared Reed's been able to make his way all the way back up again, up into P4 now. So after that damage, he's just made his way all the way back up straight away. Doesn't seem to be fazed by the challenge he's just done. It looks like they're going too wide further back. That's Stephen Gibson on the inside of Butch Taylor. Taylor on the outside line, the 33 Bass Pops machine getting the X3Ds out of the corner, just edging Gibson on the exit. That's all he needs to do. He knows on the outside line is going to be burning up less tyres, which means that in the long run he's going to be better running that high line. If he can protect it as long as he can and try and keep that track position, he's going to be in the better state of well, he's going to have better tyres at least. Gibson or any other drivers that's trying to take the low line around him. However, there, Mathis Jr., the only driver really in your top kind of 10 that's consistently choosing to choose that low line machine. Sorry, it's quite late here in the UK. It seems like I'm getting a little bit tired. Apologies. You're running that low line. As mentioned before, a lot of the drivers making comments that the low line just burns up your tyres. After about 5 laps or so, you start to feel that understeer. Especially a track like Auto Club as well. Understeer is going to send you into the wall like we saw earlier on with some of our drivers. So it's important to keep those tyres in knack and in good condition for as long as you can to have the best advantage. As we're still watching our top 3, they really don't want to work together. Making alternate lines here, running opposite sides of the track. Completely opposite metas. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out later on to see who saved the most amount of tyres. But Mathis Jr. really likes that inside line, doesn't he? The back 2 wide again. Butch Taylor on the outside of Stefan Gibson, defending the P6 position. We have Gibson with the initial run on the outside once again. But will Taylor have the switchback on him with the exit? Looks like he does have an exit. Gibson is able to cut back across. Looks like this time round Taylor does not have a response for him. It looks like that's Butch Taylor choosing to go down pit road. The Butch Taylor in the 33 machine sees that he can't make it all the way and chooses to take the plunge on the green flag conditions. This may shock some of the other drivers into thinking about their strategy as well. Are they going to have to stay out alone? Are they going to try and stretch out that fuel as long as it will go? Or they try and pit early under green now and not have to pit later on under a caution? Just to balance risk versus reward here. How much are you willing to risk? Risking going a lap down and a caution happening, or everyone else pitting and then the caution coming out? There's a high likelihood that if you do go and pit now, that a caution may occur and you're just stuck that lap down unless you can get that wave around. So it's very, very important for these drivers to make sure they try and stretch their fuel as long as they can to minimise the risk of going a lap down if they have to put in the green flag conditions. As it looks like that is Mark Cassano, I believe, in the 44 machine, letting our drivers pass now. Trying his absolute best not to impede on those leaders, because that would incur some sort of penalty for him. And he also would want to win their guys' races. Once again, the Rubbins Racing Next Gen Series, great races with great attitudes, as displayed already here tonight. Absolutely brilliant attitudes from these drivers, racing absolutely brilliantly, nice and cleanly as well. We've had no racing incidents or incidents that could be ruled as someone's fault in particular, some kind of malicious accident, I suppose, that's caused a crash. Hasn't really happened. We've had a couple of salt spins, but people just got a little bit loose out of corners, but that's about it. Racing is what this league is all about, and it's definitely providing that. We've got another really big green flag run here tonight. We've only had 2 cautions so far as we pass the halfway mark on that 47 of 75. As it looks like Nick Cleo is choosing to go down pit road as well. He's also choosing to take the plunge in the 69 machine. He has no more fuel left. So then, your top 3 is still Michael Vandermeer, Rob Mathis Jr., followed by Dominic DeLeo. They know they're in that breakaway pack, and they know at this point, especially the people behind and not the leader, consider saving fuel behind them. Because any time they lose, if they just lift a little bit more into the corners, they'll gain that time back in the draft. So they can use that to their advantage by saving as much fuel as they can, which means that's less fuel they're going to have to fill the car with when they get into the pit stop stage, which is going to save them more and more time. Which maybe I think that helps us to jump a couple more positions. As we can just hear now, the driver's slowing down even more. The revs on the next gen 7 Cup cars is getting lower and lower as the stint goes on, as it looks like Garrett Hall chose to go down pit road as well on the number 13 Ford machine. He's also choosing to go to pit. So a couple of drivers now, they're starting to drop like flies. As one by one they go down pit road, as Dominic DeLeo and Mathis Jr. both choose to go down pit road here tonight. Michael Vandermeed, your lone leader at the moment, as more drivers choose to pit. Gibson, Carter Lewis, David Reed, Matt Clayman also all choose to go down pit road here tonight. Michael Vandermeed and Tyler Evans, the two cornerstone drivers, are the only two really out of the front pack that chose to stay out. First, James Silvers, Cameron McClone, you're all, well, yeah, effectively your top four at the moment, all cornerstone motorsports. They're doing a great job out there at the moment. Vandermeed leading those laps. He's going to get over extra points in the championship. It looks like he's used to go down pit road as well in the 86 now. This is his moment. He's one of the last people to pit. Will Tyler Evans pit as well. A Cameron, will Mathis Jr. Or will they take the couple extra laps and just try and lead as many laps as they can? It looks like my stationery is slowly falling into the shadow realm. It just keeps disappearing under my desk. However, we have found a pen. A pen. Not the pen I originally found, but it's a pen nonetheless. So it looks like James Silvers, though, is choosing to stay out as well. So in the 17 machine, he's choosing to stay out an extra lap to get those extra points for leading laps. Because remember, you do get extra points if you lead a lap in today's race, or in any race in that matter, because we do follow the NASCAR tying and point system. So, your top two, both cornerstone motorsports, followed by Jared Reed as well, or by Robert Mathis Jr., current third place driver, followed by Jared Reed. Jared Reed has got a pretty sizable gap though to Mathis Jr. So Mathis Jr. at the moment is running on his own a little bit, no one to help him, as it looks like Nick Leo has dropped back a little bit. Or even though he was battling for that top three before, he's now battling for that top five. Looks like somebody, yeah, that's Carter Lynn's going down pit road. He should be one of the last people now to not pit in today's race. James Silvers, though, staying out even longer with 24 to go in the 17. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the finish? We'll have to wait and see. However, though, he's getting those points in by leading laps, as I just said. However, though, as it stands, Jared Reed is quite a couple places in front of Nick Leo. 3 positions. That's just extra points he's going to be able to gain back. And the higher he can finish, the more points he'll be able to gain back on Nick Leo. He won't be able to get the championship lead as it stands. However, the smaller the gap is, the easier it is to take it. Maybe next weekend or the weekend after. Any points if you're battling for a championship is worth getting, because that's just less points you have to find at the end of the season. We'll take the Formula 1 for example, where it literally went to the final round where both drivers were tied on points. If they had one race weekend, it could have been that one mistake or that one opportunity they didn't take up. They could have got even that one extra point, which then would have made the championship. So every point matters here. No matter how little, no matter how small they are, James Silver still capitalizing. He's still going. Just gonna jump on board the 17 machine to just see what he's doing. Is he doing more fuel saving? Or is he just going all out now, getting ready to pit sometime soon? careful. Because if he slams it a little bit too hard, just understeer into the wall and burn up even more time. He's being very, very cautious on them to make sure he doesn't burn them up too much. In the background, Bowen as well. Also running forward top three by Jared Reed and Garrett Hoyota. Just see though that gap a little bit further back with that track, excuse me. It looks like Butch Taylor's going to be going down the inside of, I believe that is Greg Mitchell. The 53 machine getting a little bit, just banging on just a little bit there. Both of them both keeping in a straight line. Looks like there was no damage incurred. Leclerc though will be looking to gain as many positions as he can here, as he's now trying to battle Dominic DeLeo for that P6 spot. As it stands though, Jared Reed just played the ultimate strategy card here, and he is currently ahead. We're just going to pull up a pit strategy window just here, and we can see when these drivers are pitted, so you can see Silvers and McCohen both staying out since around about lap 21 was the last time they pit. Where you can see Robert Mathis Jr. and Jared Reed both pitting around about 6-7 laps ago. Those drivers do have the same age of tyres, however, whether Jared Reed did take all 4 tyres, maybe he just took right sides, meaning that he's able to save crucial time in the pit stops and able to jump the drivers ahead of him. But though very, very notable, our top 2 drivers at 22 spots and 15 spots from where they gridded up in today's race as we go 19 to go, 18 to go at the line. It looks like Cameron McCohen finally chooses to go down pit road, promoting Mathis Jr. up into 2nd place. James Silver still chooses to stay out though. Will he go in this time? He'll stay out even longer. Final drivers. Michael Vandermeer though, I'm not quite sure what's happened to him, but he's found himself all the way down in 17th. So maybe without those draft partners earlier on, or sitting on his own for a bit, that's kind of left him with no help and he's just been a lot slower. I don't know, maybe he's had a little bit of a spin. However though, isn't James Silvers in front of him, but however, Golden Mathis Jr. in the 29 machine doing bits to catch up to James Silvers. Bear in mind Silver still hasn't pit yet. If you just have a look on the nose view of 29 machine, you can just see the 17 of Silvers coming into turn 3 now in front of him. That gap is getting ever closer, 1.5 seconds the gap now. It looks like Silvers is sticking down that low line as he does. Choose to go down pit road this time by. So finally he takes the plunge. I believe he is the final driver to do so. That should be our final green flag pit cycle. That leaves Robert Mathis Jr. in the best position at the moment. He has around about a 5.5 second gap to Jared Reed behind. So he can keep it nice and clean with no incidents. He can even save a bit of fuel on tyres if he wants. For the last 16 laps of the race, if it stays as it is, Robert Mathis Jr. will be your race winner. If you look a little bit further back though, Dominic DeLeo getting right onto the back of Nick Leo now. He's going to be fighting back. As his second pack battle is starting to brew up just a little bit now. The intensity dial is being turned up another 2 notches. These drivers now are starting to think about the points. They know they've only got 15 laps to go. That's only 15 laps to make a move. If they can't stay ahead in those 15 laps, especially Nick Leo as well, fighting for that championship, defending his current world championship that he won last season, he will not want to be losing points this weekend. He wants to take every opportunity given to him and abuse the heck out of it. we've got to Garrett Hall as we can see the battle growing even more behind. Leo is trying to defend from Dominic Leo. He keeps having that little bit of a look. The corner here. Now 13 laps to go. Jared Reed has called a little bit to Mathis Jr. Going about 2.5 tenths over the last 3 or so laps, but that won't be enough. He'll need to find some magical fairy pace in order to catch up. However, Nick Leo is now down the inside of Garrett Hall. So is Dominic DeLeo. They've taken this opportunity now, 13 laps to go of this race. Take that all-important track position and we'll get them the points. Dominic DeLeo, they're getting really close to being able to cut back, but he just about can't. Garrett Hall closing up that gap, and he's now left on his own a little bit. Bush Taylor try to help him just a minute, but it isn't enough. They keep challenging Garrett Hall. Nick Leo takes over at number 3 spot now, so he's only a step behind, or 1 place behind his championship rival as it stands. However, it is still very early on. Any driver can still make potentially the championship if they can reel in the good results for the next couple of races. So getting very close now. Dominic DeLeo on the outside line, Garrett Hall on the inside. Oh, that's James Silvers! James Silvers is into the wall, causing the 3rd caution of the night, and Garrett Hall as well. Up into that ball and now down grass. Drama with 10 laps to go. Rob Brothers Jr. is hoping for the easy race, but unfortunately that hasn't been given to him. Gonna have to get a replay on. Yeah, we'll have a quick look at Silvers here. Just see what happened. A little bit. But I'm gonna get a little bit. I see what happened there. There's a little bit of a bump on that inside. He goes down onto the apron, which just sucks him into the grass. Just loses the back end and hits into the wall. 17 car doesn't look too damaged from that, surprisingly. I think he might have had a wheel knocked out of alignment. As I say that, I think he is crabbing just a little bit. That is super unfortunate. He has had himself involved in a couple wrecks here tonight. It's definitely not what you want to for your league debut. The Rubbins Racing Action Series. However, though, that puts Mathis Jr. right back into the mix. Randomly being our furthest forward lap down car, so as it stands, he will have the lucky dog. However, he will be up, or we will be back to the back of the grid. So make his way all the way through once again. But we know he has the pace because he was battling early on. So will he be able to show that pace once again? Make his way back up and get a good result? We have to wait and see. This is now the 3rd caution of the night with 8 laps to go. Here at All Club Speedway, as Michael Van Der Beek makes his way round. Oh, he's luckied up. still running it. We still have a sizable amount of drones. We have 17 drivers within 1 lap of the lead as it stands. You'll have a couple drivers tagging along around 2 to 3 laps now, and they may not get their laps back, unfortunately. But that's still a pretty good number, considering the amount of action we've had in this race with that massive green flag run. However, all good things must come to an end. So in the third caution of the night, as the lights on the top of that pace car will be going off in just a second here, signifying we'll go 1 to green. Hopefully. However, you know how these things go, it may not be the case. So now, we know Jared Reed has the pace because he was eking it out. He was just closing that gap very slow to Mathis Jr. Mathis Jr. though did have the sizable gap to kind of counteracted, I suppose, because Jared Reed didn't have the pace to close it. However, now they're side by side. Was Jared Reed burning up more tyres to catch up because he knew that was the only thing he could do? Or was he just genuinely faster? We'll have to wait and see, because these are all placed at the final moments now. I have 6 laps to go when we go to the green flag. Those 6 laps will decide our race winner. Will Jared Reed be able to eke that more points out of Nick Leo's lead, as Nick Leo gets shuffled down to 8th place here? He still has a clean car. Crucially, so he'll be able to make his way back up, I presume very quickly, because he's always the driver we see up there. Even if he has knockdowns, he will always make his way back up. However, this is exactly what Jared Reed wants if he wants to take over that leadership. As it stands, he will take over the lead, and he will be its leader into round 3 at Richmond. Pace car will drop down into pit road in just a second here. Mathis Jr. will be controlling the the restart on it. As it goes now, he gets the start. The gap is there for Jared Reed to go down if he wants to. He blocks Dominic Toyo. Coming into turn 1, already going single file here. Looks like we go 3 wide for a second there. Nick Leo, I believe that was David Reed and Jonathan Gibson in the 52 machine. Nick Leo is already up 2 more spots. He is now in P6. In 1 position in Reed. Will minimise any kind of points loss that he has, or he can finish in front. We'll have to wait and see. Rubbins though, up 13 spots from where he began in that P5 position. He moves down to block Nick Leo on the inside line, moves up to block him again. He does not want Nick Leo past. He wants those points playing positions. He is up 13 spots from where he began. He's had a hell of a race so far. He's looking to end it that way. However, now he's got the outside line. Nick Leo has the inside, or have the position initially. As it looks like he's also under threat from Aaron Sire on the inside of the 42 Chevrolet machine as they go 2 wide down the backstretch. Still bumper to bumper on the outside line. As Nick Leo has a bit of a moment there, getting loose once again. Losing it as he swipes into Butch Taylor, causing the 4th caution of the night. Absolute scenes here at Auto Club Speedway. It looks like it was going to look so good for him. But then, the incident. We were watching him as it happened. He was just getting loose on the inside line. Catches it the first time. Catches it the second time. He just had that 3rd snap of oversteer where he overcorrected just a little bit too much. Catches the front of Butch Taylor, halting that Chevrolet straight away. But as you can see, there is heavy damage to them. It's really not. That will be most likely the end of it. It was very unfortunate. As it looks like Marcosano hits Nick Leo once again. Nick Leo just sitting in the middle of the track. Surely he must be fuming. I would be. It's really not a situation you want to be laid in. So now, as it stands, Jared Reed will be your current point leader if nothing else happens. However, he will have a green white checkered. for this restart. I believe in this league we do have 3 green white checkered attempts, which 3 times the drivers will get the chance to get a green white checkered attempt before the race ends. Now though, that's only 3 laps that Mathis Jr. has to hold off on Jared Reed. That's only 3 laps. He's done it before. Surely he can do it again. He's been able to hold him off for those 2 or 3 laps before the next caution came out. So, if he can hold off for that green white checkered attempt, he will be crowned your race winner. However, Jared Reed will still be a points leader because he did finish 2nd last time out in Charlotte for the season opener. However, though, consistency is key. Jared Reed coming home 2nd in both of those races is going to be better than Nick Cleo finishing 1st in one and then not finishing in the other. So unless he's going to try and get that car out, which I doubt he will be able to, if I'm honest, he may try and get the car out just to eke a little bit of points, just to finish in front of somebody else. But I'm pretty sure that will be the end of his day now, as he's still chilling in pit road. We're going once a green, this time by, I believe, for the green white checkered attempt here tonight at all the Club Speedway. Once again, as always, it's going down to the wire. All the action happens at the end of the race, it seems like, in these leagues. However, I definitely, I love commentating it. Absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant. So, though, your top 5. Rob Mathis Jr., followed by Jared Reed, Dominic DeLeo, by Aaron Sire and Tyler Evans, your top 5 at the moment. McClayman, after the incident earlier on, is now all the way back up to 6th place. So, he's made his way back up. Slowly but surely. Well, he still has that clean car, and he may be in contention for a couple extra points paying positions, as he's up 14 spots than where he began. Very, very close to him, up 13 spots, is Tyler Evans in the number 5 machine. Correction, in the 77. We have a little bit of shuffling now. I'm 100% sure why. We're going to bring up the NASCAR ticker on the top. We're getting ready for hopefully the final restart of the night. Mathis Jr. on the inside controlling it. Jared Reed will be your leader on the outside line, followed by Dominic DeLeo and Aaron Sy, your 2nd row. Pace car drops by now. Robert Mathis Jr. with the restart on the inside. He gets the gap that he needs. He cuts back in front of Jared Reed, splitting the lanes, giving them equal amounts of draft, not to give one lane fair chance of the other one. However, Jared Reed getting a big run on the inside, closing that gap straight away. The battle ensues for that 1st place position with 2 laps to go here tonight. We're going one to go very shortly. Michael Vandermeer's making up his places, up now 6 spots, all the way from the OL. He's made his way all the way back up, choosing that low line. He knows he only has 2 laps to go. He can burn up as much tyres as he likes. He's down the inside of McClayman there, trying to take that P5 position. Back to our leads though, Rob Mathis Jr. going right down to the apron as the white flag flies. That's quite a big gap for Jared Reed to gain, so unless something happens, I think Mathis Jr. may be able to take it. Looking further back though is Dominic DeLeo going too wide with McClayman. McClayman on the inside line will have the initial run. Will he be able to take it? Michael Vandermeer also may be at risk there to losing a position. He's kind of stuck in the train a little bit. He cuts down low. Moving back to our leaders though, because this is where the interesting battle is. Harold Mathis Jr. comes out of turn 4. It looks like if nothing else happens, he'll be able to make it. Michael Vandermeed up into third place, throwing blocks all over the place as he comes home in third. Absolutely brilliant finish from him though. However, man of the myth, man of the hour, Matt Clayman up 16 spots, finishing in that P4 position. Absolutely brilliant job from him as the drivers are crossing the line now. That was an absolutely brilliant race at the end. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. It looks like all of our drivers have now crossed the line. We can look at our results. Mathis Jr. with H&M Motorsports coming home for that win. Followed by Jared Reed, your new points leader. In the number 5 machine, followed by Michael Vandermeed, your top 3. Matt Clayman, Aaron Sire, Dominic DeLeo coming home in 6th. Tyler Evans, followed by David Reed, Greg Mitchell, Jake Vanoski coming home in P10. Butch Taylor coming home in P11, Stephen Gibson P12. Aaron McCowan P13, James Silvers P14, and then the last of the drivers, Carter Lins, Tim Johnston, and then we have Mac Nelson and Nick Cleo coming home in 18. I believe that is it. There we go. We have the final lot of drivers: Mark Cassano P19, followed by Garrett Hall in P20, Nick Vasquez P21, followed by Kevin Haas and Charlie Gates Jr. Those are your results here tonight for Auto Club Speedway. We'll be getting our drivers from the top 3 up for interviews in just a second here in the booth. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. That was an absolutely brilliant race here tonight. We'll just get our cameras set up here for our interviews. But my oh my, that was an absolutely brilliant race. Thoroughly enjoyed. Drivers to get up into the waiting room. Get on that all beautiful. Michael Vandermeed coming home in that P3 spot, up loads of places. I can't remember exactly how many it was. I think it was up 6 spots, I believe. But an absolutely brilliant race, throwing blocks at the end there. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was fun racing, wasn't it, Finley?
yeah, it was absolutely brilliant to watch. I enjoyed commenting on that one. However, though, do you have a strategy going into this race? Because obviously you finished in P3. You obviously did something right.
Yeah, well, it was gonna go a lot better until I hit pit road doing 80 and a 55.
I can tell you that doesn't sound ideal, and that would explain why you shuffled down to P12.
Yeah, I was used to the older cup cars where you could lock a tire, and these things just don't lock. They just keep rolling, and I just couldn't slow down in time. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I suppose that comes with the experience, though. However, those blocks at the end, I can't just ignore them. You just like you're blown up high, then down low, then back up high again. Like, just take us through their final laps as you gain so many positions at the end.
Oh, we were fighting for everything we could get a hold of. I didn't really see too much blocking. It was more just using what you could on the track.
Mm.
But it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
I spent about 15 laps just trying to figure out how I'm going to get back on lead lap, and that caution came out, and it was a saving grace.
It was definitely. So, yeah, before we round out, is there anyone at home cheering you on? Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we sign off?
I just got to thank the team, thank the boys that found this league. It's pretty good so far. I like it. These cars are they're a trip. They're a lot different than I was expecting, but I guess that's why they're called the next gens.
Yeah, the next gens. But yeah, thank you very much, Michael. I hope to see you again soon.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week.
So then, that was Michael Vandermeed being home in that P3 spot. Just a second here, we'll get Jared Reed up into the booth. Jared Reed coming home in P2. It was definitely a very, very solid finish, especially with Nick Leo as well dropping back at the end. That does make you our current points leader. Just take us through from your end what happened in that.
Yeah, it was a eventful race, but it was a lot of fun. We had those long runs and you know small amount of cautions, so it was fun to see the different strategies play out. There at the beginning, I kind of lost it and didn't spin into the grass, but lost a lot of positions and after the first pit stop, and so that kind of got me behind. And then I had the fresh tires. I was just trying to save them and work my way up, and ended up getting to fourth. And then was just trying to figure out when to pit. Me and Dominic were sitting there talking, and then all the other leaders started pitting, so it kind of threw out our strategy and went down with him and Robert. And Robert took the two tires and kind of drove off. We were running the same speed. I couldn't make up any ground on him, and he gained so much time in the pits.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that. Honestly, like coming into those final laps before the final caution, before the green white checkered, like, do you think it was down now? Do you think you had it? Were you hoping for something? What was kind of going on in your head at that?
Yeah, I mean, I was catching him a little bit, but it wasn't enough. He was gonna run away with the win there, and then after the caution came out, it was still just he. We were kind of running about the same speed, and I couldn't make up any ground. I tried a couple different things, but nothing worked.
Yeah, but anyway, before we sign off, is anyone at home cheering you on you'd like to give a shout out before we go?
Yeah, we just want to thank Next Level Racing, Butt Kicker, for joining us this season. We had some new faces this race and still had a good race. So we want to thank everybody that showed up, that joined this week, and everybody that's been there since the start of the season. It's a good race, and sure it makes for a good broadcast and fun to call for you. And just want to thank you for doing this race.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure as always. I always enjoy it. It's definitely a highlight of my week. Thank you very much. And yeah,
All right, Finley, have a good one.
have a good. That was Jared Reed coming home in that P2 position. In just a second here, we'll get our leader, race winner, Robin Mathis Jr. Yeah, here we go, our race leader, Robin Mathis Jr. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, going into that the final few laps there, you had about a 5.5 second gap. Jared Reed was catching you just a little bit, but it looks like you had it before that final caution came out. Just take us through through the final laps. I was going through your head, especially when that caution came out.
Well, I thought the laps was never going to count down at first, but I mean, when the caution came out, I thought for sure that was probably somebody with fresh tires that would have got me right there, because I was out of tires, so that was my biggest worry. But I guess they was far enough back that they never actually got to get up there and fight for it.
Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant racing from the end there, keeping that position. But obviously, you came home with the win. That's really good points, especially so early on as well. That puts you quite high up at the standings. Maybe it's a little bit early to think about the championship, but it's definitely something fun. Yeah, going into this race, do you have any strategy at all? Were you expecting to win? Were you expecting to? What was kind of the vibe going into?
Really, just wanted to keep up the momentum from last week. Just trying to keep a top five or so. Just trying to keep up in the points, before seeing who's going to be around for the whole season and whatnot. So just trying to stay in contention and instead of falling out too early.
Yeah, are you spotting any battles, any rivals in particular, or are you just trying to have fun?
No, just trying to have fun, just trying to gain more experience and get better.
As always, who wouldn't want to try and get better? Anyway, before we sign off, we have the pleasure of, but yeah, is there any sponsors, any family or friends joining on from home?
Shout out to obviously Team Goon Squad for putting on the broadcast, all the admins for putting on the league. It's such a great league. Modern Security for being on the car, and HTM Motorsports.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pleasure. I enjoy it. It's definitely a highlight of my week. Yeah, hopefully we see you up in the booth more often.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see you next time.
Thank you, buddy.
That was your race winner, Robert Mathis Jr. Before we sign off here tonight, I'd like to say a massive thank you on behalf of Team Goon Squad. It was an absolutely brilliant race. Yeah, as I said, to about 4 different people, I thoroughly enjoyed that one for sure. My name is Funny Fitzsimmons with Team Goon Squad, broadcasting 1080p 60 frames a second. You guys. Yeah, as I said earlier on, Richmond will be our round 3. Don't miss that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Notification bells on so you don't miss the moment we go live. And yeah, I suppose that's it. That's it.